how you have we just went down our East standings.
Right.
A lot of good stuff there. Let us know what you guys think about those. We're now going to move on to the West side. Definitely a lot of fun things are going on in the West beyond just what we have here in LA with the Nuggets trying to go for the repeat and all that kind of stuff. There's plenty of teams of note to look at here. Alec, how do you have your Western Conference standings going?
Yep. So at 15 spot, last place in the West, I got the Portland Trail Blazers.
Got me again. Jeez. Go ahead. That's
number 14. Number 14, I got the Jazz. At number 13, I've got the Spurs. Number 12, I've got the Rockets. Number 11, I've got the Thunder. Number 10, I got the Mavericks sneaking into the play-in. Number 9, I've got the Grizzlies falling from the 2 seed last year to 9 this year. I've got 8, I got the Pelicans. 7, I've got the Kings. 6, I've got the Timberwolves. 5, the Warriors. 4, the Los Angeles Lakers. 3, the Los Angeles Clippers. 2, I have the Suns. And 1, I have the Nuggets repeating as number 1. Let's hear it.
Again.
Let's hear it.
I'm very scared to say this, but I'm going to say it.
Okay.
I think you have both the LA teams too high.
That's fine.
As much as I like the Clippers and what they have there, and they're supposed to be getting back, they're supposed to win the years that they get back on track. And Kawhi had his quote, wherever that was, that came out about how he's ready to go. We've asked about the quote that he gave to the reporters.
Oh, that was funny.
Whatever that kind of was.
He's in his grocery.
Paul George has all the quotes saying he's back and ready to get back into full form. Russ is still, we saw him all offseason dunking on little dudes in the gym and stuff. Like he still clearly hasn't lost a step just yet. They have plenty of pieces there. Just understanding how they, I guess, protect these guys, which is in a way good for them as an organization putting their guys. But in reality, they, with them not maybe playing enough, that low management just has to be a reality of who they are. And them being guys we may not see add this trio for over 70 games. I think 70 might be the most, if that. I know Kawhi has to sit for a lot of it because he has his knee issues that are always continuing. I don't know if they're going to be able to put together enough wins to be the 3 spot. Also, in comparison, just to other teams that are going to want to come out during the regular season and want to win games. I think Timberwolves this year, they just paid all their guys. They're paying. They paid $200 million to like 4 guys on that roster. They just paid Jaden McDaniels as well. Ant is going to take another step. They're going to be the only team that wants to win, at least in the regular season, in regards to what their standings right now. The Timberwolves might be a regular season team that wins a lot. The Kings might be another regular season team that wins a lot. The Pelicans, if they stay healthy, might be a regular season team that wins a lot. If Zion is healthy, they might be on the outside of that. But for sure, the Kings and the Timberwolves, I think, will be one of the teams that they're the young, feisty team that's going to want to keep trying to prove their worth early on this season, and they'll run a lot of teams out the gym. So because of that, they might end up higher in the standings in the regular season than teams like the Clippers or Lakers who want to make sure their guys are protected and understanding the pace that we talked about with the Lakers going on to the postseason. So having them at 3 and 4, even the Suns in the same way, I think as much as you want to see the big 3 of KD and Bradley Beal and D Book, they are a team that has full eyes on championship. It seems with those 3. I know KD always gets online and talks about he just wants to hoop, and he kind of dismisses championship runs, and I just want to hoop and have fun, and I want to have the fun team and all of that. That's fully understood. Seeing what also could come of that with them playing as much as they do. They have odds to the postseason. So they could be as high as 2. They could pace themselves and make sure they are ready for a postseason run and end up closer to 4 or 5 as well. So those were the Clippers, Lakers, our squads there. Caught my attention the most up top. At the bottom, as much as I understand that the Blazers are in a full rebuild, I actually like what they did this offseason.
I do too.
I like what they got in DeAndre. I think those would be enough pieces to look
at the other teams.
That's the hard part of the game. I like all their pieces. I like what they're going to be. They're for sure. We'll come back to it during our awards. They're for sure going to be one of my league pass teams to watch. All that kind of stuff. But in comparison to the rest of their conference, it's going to be hard to get ahead of anybody. But I do think they have put together some quality pieces there with Dame now out of the building. Outside of that, the Mavericks didn't add defenders. I don't remember this offseason. They added Grant Williams from what I can remember. But they didn't really add anyone to fix the glaring issues that they had last season. Beyond just their struggles of trying to get acclimated with Kyrie and Luka. There were a lot of defensive struggles that went on because they had to let go of Dorian Finney-Smith in that trade because while he is mocked, Spencer Dinwiddie is somewhat of a defender there. He was over there, I believe.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, and was somewhat more of a defending guard than Kyrie and Luka could be at least. So just saying they lost a lot of defense there that hasn't quite been replaced. And Grant, I can't say is that guy. He'll be feisty. We saw him fighting with Jimmy Butler and pieces like that. But they actually could end up being lower again similar situation. It could be a kind of a mock of the top half of the conference where you have some feisty teams like the Thunder, some feisty teams like the Rockets, even the Jazz could be feisty and could end up upsetting the Mavericks squad that doesn't quite have the right pieces yet. Though they do have a top two that should be able to produce there. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays. I'm not necessarily mad at your standings. Obviously, we're here right before the season starts. Anything is possible. These teams, if it was a power ranking, I definitely I would view this as such, or at least close to as such. Mm-hmm. But in regards to how things are going to play out in wins and losses, I think there a lot of young teams are going to come out running this season to get ahead of the older guys there. So we'll see how that plays. But yeah, what was the hardest part for you in putting this together?
The hardest part was the 8 through 11 range. So like the Pelicans, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Thunder. Mm-hmm. Because the Pelicans are a big what if in terms of if Zion stays healthy or not.
They could be top 2 if things click right.
Yeah, like they've gotten off to top 2 starts and then Zion gets hurt and it kind of crumbles a bit.
Right.
The Grizzlies, I felt like they had to drop because of Ja being out 25 games, but they do still have Marcus Smart added.
I was going to say the bigger, not the bigger, but just as important loss is Steven Adams for the year.
Correct, for the entire year too. Yeah.
So
but they have Jaren Jackson, they have Smart, they have Bane, who I'm sure will step up offensively. But with that, like they don't have a superstar like on the roster currently with Ja down, so like they're gonna have to make do.
Can you imagine the redemption arc if you got Ja paired up with Cooper Flag next year? Or what's his name? Not Flag.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, Cooper Flag. Yeah.
Him.
I'm sure I don't.
Or the storylines. How do you want to describe it?
I don't know if I wish that on Cooper Flag. I don't know if he needs Ja Morant as a mentor.
Understood.
But yeah, that would be interesting to see, I guess. But as far as those other teams, the Mavericks, I struggle to figure out where to put them because I see the issues you're talking about as far as the defensive side. I wasn't blown away by their offseason additions in Grant Williams, and they brought in Seth Curry, and they right now the projected starting center is Derek Lively, I believe, who can be good, but he's a rookie. So like I wasn't blown away by their offseason by any means, but they do still have Luka, who right now is top 3 in MVP odds. I don't see that by any stretch at all, but Luka's still Luka. He's a superstar, and they have Kyrie there, so they're gonna get some wins for sure. That's why I have them like sneaking into the play-in, but I do kind of favor veteran experience a bit. They have the coach there, like who Jason Kidd has been good for them in the past.
Right.
And so I favor those veteran stars and superstar against some of the youth that other teams are going to experience throughout the course of a season. But I at first kind of had them in like the 11-12 range as well too. And then that bottom is tough because those young guys, Wembanyama, like he could maybe make them make a leap. Or the Rockets got Ime in there, and Jalen Green can maybe take a step. And they got some veterans in there with Van Vliet, and so it's
going to be a very, very fun conference. I'm excited to watch how things play out in the West and seeing where teams fall. But for now, I do agree with you. A quick thought going back to Luka and what you said about him being top 3 MVP odds. While I do understand that, I also said, and it might have been dramatic, but you look at it, he might have already missed his window for the MVP. You got Victor on his way, and only getting better. Jokic is still around. Jason Tatum once LeBron gets out the way, there's gonna be Tatum, and there's gonna be Giannis still around. Steph is still here. Like there's gonna be a lot of guys still in that competition. So he might have already missed his MVP window, but will surely put up some good performances that will be of note this season. So we'll see how that plays out.
And real quick, just because we didn't really talk about them that much, the Thunder could be like a surprise team that like is a solidified playoff team just with the amount of talent that they have.
Very much so.
The thing that hurts them right now is youth, but I think they're a really talented group of guys that, I mean, Shea was a first team All-NBA last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's a superstar level talent. Like they have Chet, who could potentially be Rookie of the Year. They have pieces to maybe beat some veteran teams and make a jump into playoff contention. So I didn't want to discredit them, but it was like hard for me to put them above some of these veteran teams who have done it before. But we'll see. They're going to be an exciting team, I think.
Hashtag pass the picks, man. let go of some of them picks. Do what you gotta do.
Bring in a vet.
Go ahead and get some star. I know they have a few budding stars here that surely are deserve respect. But as a team that has, I think, 17 first round picks over the next
crazy
3 seasons or 4 seasons,
treasure chest of them. Yeah,
go ahead and let some of those go because you have a team that now is they are probably the best at rebuilding of all the young squad. They keep on finding stars some kind of way, and have done it again. And they can find a piece to go along these guys because you also don't see here they have Alexander Poku. I don't know how to say his last name properly. My apologies. But they have another 7-footer there. Trey Mann is over there as well, who's solid off the bench as a guard. They already have some pretty good pieces across the board here. I think it's Kendrick Williams. I think maybe there also. Just saying, there were a few pieces there that deserve respect, and we'll see how that works out. But they definitely are a fun squad that can throw off the standings this year for sure. So excited for all of that. I won't argue too much more with your standings there, and we can go from there. So a lot of fun things going on in the NBA in regards to the conferences. Looking forward to see how things play out. Continue to show love in the comments and to let us know what you guys think, how you guys think things will fall. And we'll be back with more in a moment. You guys something to say?
Yeah, last thing was that I didn't include my the Western Conference Finals prediction for
go ahead.
So for the West, I have a Nuggets and Lakers repeat. And we didn't really talk much about the Nuggets. I think they lost Bruce Brown. And I don't think there was any other major losses that they had because the starting lineup is pretty much going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jokic could have been 3-time MVP and potentially could be MVP candidate once again this year.
Yep.
I don't think any team really has an answer for him yet. Like we'll see this year.
Right.
But to this point, there's not a whole lot you can do with that man. Like he's great at basketball.
I want to say there's not a lot you can do, but it's interesting to see what happens just hypothetically if the shots don't fall. Like we saw last year.
The shots don't fall?
We just saying
he just does so much beyond scoring too.
I know that, but just saying they're also with that where a lot of times where he was doing fade away from the 3-point line and shoving shots up and finding ways into the basket or finding passes that were out of nowhere. If somehow they can either fill the passing lanes or somehow the shots don't fall a little less often than they did last year, we'll see how that shifts things potentially. But I do think that's really only the hypothetical I can think of. Beyond that, I agree with you that it does seem like he's going to be on track yet again this season. So it's interesting to see how that plays out. And yeah, I hear you in saying that it may be a repeat. We didn't really talk about the Lakers either. I kind of mentioned them early on, and we'll
talk about them more too.
So. But yeah, just the Lakers being at 4, very well could happen. We hope for it and all of that. But I definitely do think there's going to be some pace that comes into play with them as well, which I kind of noted when I mentioned them. So yeah, we'll talk more about them in a moment. But for now, those are our Western Conference standings. Excited to see how things play out.
I got the Nuggets winning, by the way. So I got the Nuggets getting back to the finals. So.
Interesting. Again, as I asked in the East, is there anyone that you see that could disrupt those plans?
The Lakers, the Suns, if everything goes according to plan. Like everything has to go perfectly. But the Suns have the 3 superstars. So the Suns, Lakers. I couldn't see the Warriors. Anyone that I have 5 or below, I couldn't see it happening. But Suns, Lakers, Clippers, I could see presenting a threat to the Nuggets. Yeah.
Got it. All right. Yeah. Well, we'll see that. I definitely can see a few upsets. Again, the West is loaded to me. So as good as the top teams are, these young teams are going to be fighting for sure and could throw a wrench into a lot of folks' plans. So we'll see how that goes. But just excited to see how things play either way. So